Welcome to Karma's Harvest. Today we explore a story where the lines between fate, law, and irony blur into a single unforgettable lesson. It is the tale of a man who tried to sue destiny, only to find that destiny always has the last word. Arthur Vance was a man who believed that his success was his own doing, but his failures were always someone else's fault. He was a high-stakes investor with a low-stakes character. When his portfolios were green, he was a genius. When they turned red, he looked for a scapegoat. 2 years ago, Arthur began visiting a well-known local psychic named Madame Serafina. He didn't go for spiritual guidance or peace of mind. He went for insider tips on the universe. He wanted to know which stocks would soar and which startups would crumble. Serafina, a woman of calm eyes and few words, always gave him the same advice. The seeds you sow with greed will bear bitter fruit. Look within before you look ahead. Arthur, however, only heard what he wanted to hear. He interpreted her vague warnings as buy signals. When he poured $500,000 into a biotech firm that vanished overnight, he didn't blame his lack of due diligence. He didn't blame the market. He blamed Madame Serafina. "She didn't warn me," he roared to his lawyers. "She claims to see the future. Yet she let me walk into a financial slaughterhouse. That's professional negligence." And so the unthinkable happened. Arthur Vance sued Madame Serafina for failure to predict a catastrophic financial loss. He sought damages for his lost investment plus emotional distress. He wanted to prove in a court of law that her powers were either real and therefore she was negligent, or fake and she was a fraud. The courtroom was packed on the day of the hearing. Arthur sat with his expensive legal team looking smug. Madame Serafina sat alone at the defense table, carrying nothing but a small silver coin which she rolled between her fingers. The judge, a no-nonsense woman named Justice Holloway, looked at the filings with visible exhaustion. "Mr. Vance," she began, "you are suing a psychic because you lost money on a high-risk investment. You are asking this court to codify the accuracy of the supernatural?" Arthur's lawyer stood up. "Your Honor, the defendant accepts money for her services. She claims to provide foresight. Our client relied on that foresight, and the failure of her gift caused him significant harm." Justice Holloway turned to Serafina. "Does the defense have anything to say before I rule on the motion to dismiss?" Serafina stood up slowly. She didn't look at the judge. She looked directly at Arthur. The room went silent. "Your Honor," she said, her voice like velvet hitting stone, "I have no legal defense, only a final prediction for Mr. Vance. It is a free of charge, so there can be no claim of negligence today." Arthur scoffed, crossing his arms. "Go ahead. Let's hear it." Serafina closed her eyes for a moment, then spoke clearly. "I predict that within the next 10 minutes, this court will ensure that I do not owe you a single penny. I predict that your attempt to take what is mine, to cover what you lost, will fail utterly. Today, the harvest of your greed is simply nothing." Arthur laughed. "That's not a prediction, that's just a wish. Your Honor, see? She's a charlatan." Justice Holloway cleared her throat, the sound echoing like a gavel. "Actually, Mr. Vance, she's a prophet." The judge leaned forward. "This court finds this lawsuit not only frivolous, but an insult to the judicial system. If you believe the defendant is a fraud, you had no business seeking her advice for financial gain. If you believe she is genuine, then she has just proven her abilities by accurately predicting the outcome of this very trial." The judge struck her gavel with a resounding crack. "Case dismissed with prejudice. Plaintiff is ordered to pay the defendant's legal fees, though she didn't even hire a lawyer, and a fine for wasting the court's time. Madame Serafina's prediction has indeed come true. You leave this room with nothing." Arthur stood frozen. The irony was a cold weight in his chest. He had sued her for failing to predict the future, only to have her use the future to defeat him in the present. As the gallery cleared out, Serafina walked past Arthur. She leaned in and whispered, "The future isn't a map to hidden gold, Arthur. It's a mirror. I hope you finally like what you see. At Karma's Harvest, we believe that you cannot Outsource your responsibility to the stars. Arthur Vance tried to make a psychic responsible for his greed, but in the end, the only thing predicted was his own undoing. Remember, the universe doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you've earned. Thank you for watching. Until next time, tend to your own fields with care.